Yeah, the mayor complained about me today. So. She told me
That's going well.
my carpet cleaners were double parked. And I was like, Bridget, they have to be there.
It's all right. I'll read all about it on one of the Facebook pages.
Just give it time. There'll be posts. Be like, can you believe this asshole that moved in and had a carpet cleaner parked on the wrong side of the road? Thankfully, by the time she noticed, by the time I called Miriam to tell her, they were done and they were gone. So.
Oh, well, then why didn't you just, I handled it. Took care of it for you. All right, are we all ready?
Yes.
I'm going to call to order the Tuesday, November 25th, 2025 meeting of the Planning Commission. Everyone can rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kristen, would you do the roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Bartis?
Here.
Commissioner Dolan?
Here.
Chair Kempner?
Here.
Commissioner Stapp?
Here.
Commissioner Kaplan?
Here.
Commissioner Arntzen?
Here.
And Commissioner Wood?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Approval of the minutes of September 23rd, 2025. Are there any revisions or motions?
To approve the minutes. Second.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Communications. We have our Michigan planner here. Are there any other communications?
Nothing else.
Citizens' comments. This is the time for items that are not on the agenda. You will have time to speak on agenda items when we're discussing them. We ask that you come to the podium, state your name, city of residence, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do I have any citizen comments about things not on the agenda? Moving on. Public hearing, PSU 0525 and PSP 1425, 2960 12 Mile Road. Kristen, would you like to give us an introduction?
Yes. So these are listed as one agenda item. You have a site plan and a special land use request before you. I will go over both at the same time, but you will need to make 2 separate motions should you choose to move forward with these when it comes to that point. I'm going to be somewhat high level and just kind of highlight the key points, so feel free to jump in and ask questions if you need to. This is for the former Rite Aid property, vacant now. It's proposed to become a live theater use. This is located at 2960 12 Mile. It would be characterized in our zoning ordinance as a private assembly use. In the downtown district, private assembly uses are a special land use. There's an ancillary lounge, appetizer bar type feature that's associated with it as well. That would mainly be open only during city special events and then also during times when the theater is in use as well. It would not be a standalone restaurant or bar. There are several standards that are listed in the staff review memo for both special land uses and for the site plan. I'm not going to go through each of those, but I will highlight some of them that are pertinent. As far as the site plan is concerned, the applicant is proposing some changes to the building. Sorry, give me just a second. I wrote this down somewhere. Okay. The sides of the building will be painted with the exclusion of the area that has the existing mural. That is proposed to be touched up as part of the DDA's revision for the Robina right-of-way, so that area would stay as is. You'll also notice there would be a new metal panel installed along the bottom of the building. That's mainly to control some of the damage that's come as a result of snow removal and things like that. along that area of the building. The windows and transparency on the proposed facade would be altered. So the space as it stands right now does include 3 retail tenant spaces. Those would go away as part of this one unified use for this particular building. So since some of those windows are proposed to be eliminated, the transparency would change as well. Some of the materials that are part of that would be replaced with metal as well. You'll see that the building is painted. We don't have any purview over the paint color, so just keep in mind as you're reviewing it, we're reviewing the new materials only. Any part of the building or site that the applicant is touching comes under our or your purview. So I had an example in the staff review memo. Since they are not really touching the parking lot, we would not apply the new landscaping standards. That's not something that's being altered. But since they are touching parts of the facade, any new materials that are proposed, the Planning Commission gets to weigh in on. One of the things I do want to point out as part of the facade is that transparency requirement. Places of assembly in the downtown district require a 30% transparency. Currently, the building's transparency is 17%, and a large reason for that is because of its function as a former theater. The marquee and the area associated with that takes up a large block of the facade, and obviously there's no transparency associated with that. The applicant's renderings show a proposed transparency of 8%. So there's 2 options that the Planning Commission could discuss with the applicant and include in a potential motion. One is that the facade be revised to bring the transparency back up to the 17% that is currently there as an existing condition. The other would be to approach the Zoning Board of Appeals for a variance if they wanted to move forward with anything less than 17% transparency. So that's something to keep in mind there. There are also a couple notes to address some lighting, which may be changed if, as things move forward, they see that there's some lighting that's not working. They are proposing some fixtures that would be updated should that be the case, and there's some notes that should be added to the plan and are listed in the staff review to make sure that that lighting is compliant with our ordinance requirements. The site plan, as I said, really is just part of the facade at this point. That's the only thing that the Planning Commission is looking at. There's not other site changes proposed. The special land use is the element that the Planning Commission makes a recommendation to council on, and you all have a little bit more discretion over that. In the staff review memo, as I said, you'll see all of the special land use standards listed, as well as some staff analysis provided for each of those. One of the things I want to highlight that I anticipated coming up, and so reached out to our engineering consultant to try to provide some additional analysis and background information, is parking. This site is within 500 feet of a municipal parking lot as it stands right now. So no parking for the zoning ordinance requirements is needed. The parking that is associated with the property, that up really quick. So this lot here, the one that everyone uses for the post office parking, and this lot right here, this square, are the lots that are owned by the owner of the former Rite Aid building. These lots here, it's a couple different parcels, even though it looks like one big lot, are owned by Berkley First Church. So none of these lots that currently surround the proposed Berkley Theater space are public parking. We have a tentative agreement with the applicant to use this lot and this lot as public parking. This would be through a lease agreement with the city in exchange for allowing residents and visitors of the city to use that as public parking. The city takes care of the maintenance and snow removal, and it would be signed as public parking. This lot back here that's owned by Berkley First Church, we are also in talks with them to do the same arrangement with them. So all of this would tentatively become public parking. There's also public parking available over here, and that's an existing municipal lot owned by the city. In the packet, you'll see a memo from Spalding de Decker, our new engineering consultant, that looks at the typical parking scenario. The applicant's package notes that about 300 to 550-ish people are what is expected for the typical use of the building for their usual show. There could be occasions throughout the year, very limited occasions, The applicant can maybe speak to how often that would occur, where up to 800 people could, or 850 people, excuse me, could be in this space for a theater show. In those instances, staff is recommending, based on the details provided in the Spalding-Decker memo, that we would need to coordinate with the applicant and public safety to figure out how we're going to park that many people in this particular area. We would want that plan in place of how we're going to handle those larger shows before we issue them a certificate of occupancy. As I understand it now, there's none of those shows planned, but we would want this plan in place should that happen, already prepared, that we can fall through, and that would be in coordination with public safety. So that's recommended as a condition of approval. The other condition of approval that's recommended is that employees park off-site. That could be in a municipal lot farther away, or it could be through a private agreement that the applicant establishes with one of the private parking lots nearby. That is a detail that we would leave to the discretion of the applicant, which route they want to go. If it's a private agreement, then we would need to see and have that agreement on file with the city prior to issuing the certificate of occupancy for the site. The Spalding-Decker memo notes, and I was able to confirm with Jeff Tong of the Historical Museum, that the previous theater did seat 850 people. So the typical use of the building is going to be quite a bit under what was originally existing on the site when the theater came into use. And then the peak use of the building, which would again just be those couple times a year, would not exceed what was originally there when the theater was operating. Now, all that being said, and because of the nature of the way people in Michigan tend to behave, it's not realistic to think that there's not going to be any parking on the side streets adjacent to the theater. We would anticipate that that's going to be the case. If you live within a block or two of the downtown area, you have the benefit of being able to walk to a lot of things that are a little bit farther for other people, but the trade-off for that is that you might see some spillover. All of our streets are public streets. They're all open for people to park on unless signed otherwise, and most of them do allow parking now on two sides. I would be happy to discuss the parking more if you want to get into that. The last thing would be just, this is a public hearing because of the special land use, and then please keep in mind that's the recommendation to council. And then the site plan approval or denial lies just with the planning commission. That does not move forward to council. The applicant is here to go through their plans as well. One last thing, the marquee is not part of your consideration. They're not proposing any material changes right now to the marquee. Their rendering shows some color changes. I don't know that they're for sure landed on these particular colors, but that would be something, since it's color changes, that would not be part of the planning commission's work. They do intend to keep the marquee, though. So that's good news.
Any questions for Kristen?
Is there any reason to believe that there'd be any difficulty, procuring that agreement with the church parking lot?
Not right now. We don't have anything signed. We're meeting with them again on Monday with their board of trustees to go over things in a little bit more detail, but they've tentatively said that they're on board.
Do you know what, for public parking lots in the city, what are the restrictions? Are there like overnight parking restrictions?
Yep, between 2 and 5. You
2 and
can't
5.
park in
Okay.
public parking lots.
So that would be intended to keep that with the new lease?
Yep, the same thing would apply here. Obviously, if you go to the theater and you don't feel like you're able to drive home, we would encourage you to take an Uber, and public safety uses some discretion in deciding what to take.
But it'd be normally signed similar to the other parking? Okay.
Yes, it would be just like every other municipal lot in the city.
We just get the chief to drive us home.
Whoever you want to call for a ride.
Right? Right. Are you fixing that buzzing? Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
driving me crazy.
We thought they were doing Morse code.
Would the applicant like to come up and say anything?
excited about moving forward with this project. I think it's in downtown Berkeley, and I think that what we have to offer is a great fit for what is here. Everyone with the city and Kristen and Crystal and the city administration has been fantastic to work with, bring the project to this point. So we're excited to keep moving it forward. There are a couple of things on the on Kristen's memo I wanted to touch on a little bit. These are very, very similar conversations and concerns that we had in our facility in Rochester. Parking and noise were the two things that were the concerns. So we were very proactive in addressing both those in Rochester, as well as we would do as well here. As far as noise is concerned, Rochester is very similar to the Berkley Theater in the fact that it abuts up against residential areas. We're aware of that. We take that serious. We want to be a good neighbor and all those things. So we're very proactive with the sound remediation inside of the building. We have a sound engineering company that we've worked with in the past that we're kind of working on this project as well. There's a lot of sound absorption materials that are planned for the. Okay, there's a lot of sound absorption materials that are planned for the interior that would remediate some of the noise concerns. One of the advantages of the Berkley Theater versus our facility in Rochester is this building was designed for noise and for large uses like this. In Rochester, it was a little more challenging because it was a retail operation. So we had a lot of challenges to do to make sure that we weren't violating any noise ordinances or bothering any neighbors. This is a much easier project because of the design and it was intended for this use. And then the other thing I did want to point out with parking, Rochester had a lot of concerns about parking as well. They were concerned that we were going to overtax the parking that was currently there, and that we were going to create a problem with restaurants and other people that are attracting as well. One of the things that we did was we had a contingency plan that if we were overtaxing the system of parking, that we were going to incur the cost of some changes that needed to be made. And what changes they were proposing was they were going to do some left turn only areas, and they were going to reroute some traffic, and we were going to incur the cost of whatever changes had to be made signage wise and things like that to alleviate any problems. None of those things happened. And one of the biggest reasons none of those things ever came to fruition is that we found that about 80 to 85% of the people that are coming for our shows are going out and dining prior to coming to the facility. And people park where they eat. The first stop that they go to is where they park, and then they walk to the theater. If you come to the Roxy on a Friday or Saturday night, you'll see the enormous amount of people that are walking down the sidewalks, not from the parking structure directly across the street from us. They're coming from the subdivisions. They're coming across down 4th Street, across from wherever they are meeting their groups to eat at. So that really spread out the parking load, which I think really made a huge impact on not overtaxing the public parking directly at us. Because they don't want to get in the car and drive 2 blocks. They're gonna park, they're gonna eat, then they're gonna walk over. So I had anticipate very, very similar things to happen here. One of the reasons that you don't see a full-blown restaurant as part of this proposal is because we want to be supportive of the community. We want people to go and enjoy the restaurants and then come to us for the theater. We want to be we understand that we're going to draw a large number of people to the area, but we want to spread out spread the love a little bit and have everybody get a little piece of it. So that's important for us to do as well. The other thing I did want to talk a little bit about is about the transparency. One of the challenges that we had was, the original theater portion, we really didn't want to cut into that to do bathrooms and things like that weren't part of the original. If you could go up to the one more up. I'm sorry. Yeah, right there. So if you see where the bathroom portion is, that's where currently the Berkley Chop Shop is there. We didn't want to cut into the main theater portion, putting in bathrooms and things like that. So we brought that to one of the storefronts, which obviously we don't want windows in the bathroom. So that combination with the marquee being so large is why you're seeing that percentage on the transparency lower than you'd think it would be. Because we got a huge facade out there that we're working with, and then with us losing that whole storefront with the transparency, that really took that number down.
Yep.
So Mark Dunnebuck, one correction.
Yes.
When you stated the transparency number.
Yes.
Currently, it's at 17%, if you go ahead and calculate it. And the new design is proposed is 12%.
Oh,
You
I'm
stated
sorry.
8.
Yep.
So
12.
12%, so we've got a 5%. So,
Yep. If you want to, Mark, show or put the material samples up here.
So that was one other thing, was the materials that were going to be used. So this is just showing hidden fasteners, metal that will be more on the upper side of the facade, and then the lower side will be showing once again this lapped hidden fastener horizontal. So,
Sure. And this is in gray, right? A
so
gray
then,
shade.
and then these are all the colors that we will choose from.
And that lower portion of the metal is really to take care of some of the decay, as Kristen said, some of the decay that's on there from salt and things like that. It's in pretty bad shape. So we're really just trying to dress that up a bit.
Did anybody have any questions for the applicant before I open the public hearing first?
So I guess to reach that, that extra 5% to get to 17, you would have to go where the bathrooms are.
Well, to get us to the 17, we're going to have to do some window tinting and maybe in some drapery or something along those lines, and keep some of the current windows there that are there. I would prefer not to do curtains in the bathroom, but we would have to alternatively look at some things.
You do like frosted windows or something?
There's Kristen said that there's a code. You have to be able to see a certain amount through it.
It can't be completely opaque. So tinting could be allowed up to like 85 or 90%, but
Okay.
it can't be completely opaque.
And
I'm
really
just
the-
not positive 85% for a bathroom. I guess I'm really not wrap my arms around if that's enough for a bathroom to.
And shades would be allowed too. You could be creative.
Right. And the other thing we thought about was maybe doing something on the, from 7 feet down or something that would be pretty dark. And then the uppers would be more open, so.
What about under the marquee? Could you do like glass doors?
So yeah, that's one of the other alternatives is that that changing it up and putting some glass doors in there is an alternative to get us to that percentage.
So if you go to the rendering real quick. Part of what we're trying to do is bring back some of the historical though as well, right? So the red doors. So when you go ahead and you make that all translucent, right, then you lose some of that character, right, that we're trying to maintain. So again, sure, we could go ahead and make those doors 100% glass and it'll get us pretty close. So,
Yeah.
that's the give and take.
And on the east side of where the restaurant is, what is going to be, that's like where the green room is?
That's really green. Well, that's really where the Rite Aid area is. So the green room. Let me point over here. So this is kind of the green room area where the Rite Aid entrance was.
Yeah.
And then this is kind of like the kitchen area that we wanted to cover up the glass.
So
bit.
the
Okay.
green room still has the glass. So if you scroll up just a little bit, you can see the rendering. Or yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a green room right
that's
there.
all still glass, and so where it starts being, solid is the kitchen.
That's here, right?
Right. Yep.
And the other
Kitchen.
challenge that we had is we were trying to kind of balancing it out a little bit. What we did over here, we were kind of duplicate over there. So, if we ended up doing some tinted glass function over here, we might just continue that to the other side.
Yeah, and
I
part-
appreciate you pointing to us, but when you do that, you're not on the mic anymore, so people at home can't hear.
All right, sure.
Kristen, quick question.
Yes.
So with the new zoning ordinance, we no longer waive transparency. It just goes to zoning.
In the downtown district, you cannot waive transparency.
Okay.
It would have to go to the ZBA or the 17.
Or they have to adjust. Okay.
If we did make adjustments to the facade, we wouldn't have to come back again, right?
As long as you're getting to the 17%.
Okay, gotcha, okay.
Do you know what you'd get to with glass doors? Would it be 17?
We're gonna
I
be
really
pretty
like
close,
those
yeah.
red
So I
doors.
think there's a means to the end
Yeah.
if we, so I'm pretty certain we'll be able to get to it.
Are you willing to go to the ZBA?
I'm sorry?
Are you willing to go to the ZBA?
I'd prefer not to, it's just gonna take another 30 days before we get building permits and occupancies and things like that. It's just kicking the can down the road for another 30 days, which I'd prefer not to do. We're ready to get started.
So in going through the Spalding D-Decker analysis of parking and all of that, I think one of those things that struck me was the idea that you would have 118 employees on a general
I saw
day.
that, yeah.
And that felt like that.
That's definitely a misprint.
A lot.
I saw that myself. yeah.
I can talk about that because I called Spalding to Decker to ask about that specific figure. So the way that they were getting to that is they were looking at I don't know if it's in this, the floor plan that had all of the listed occupancies in each of the areas. And when they added up the different areas with each of the occupancies, the amount that was left was 118. So they put that in as employees. Probably you're not going to have.
It's more like 20.
Have
Like-
108
That feels brighter.
and 18 employees. But
Yeah.
the important.
We wouldn't be open very long if we had 118 people working
The
there.
important takeaway from that was that they were going off the 544 occupancy number, and
Gotcha.
that was just the gap that was there. So they listed that as employees.
In Rochester, how often are you doing a show that is peak capacitying your?
About 4 to 5 times a year.
Okay.
And really, when we say the peak capacity of 850 and how often we do that, that's really bring in a big national name act that's really going to give you some press and get you a little shot in the arm. That's not our day to day. What we do to make money, week in, week out. That's really to kind of put a shot in the arm of, it's kind of cool to say, hey, so and so came to our town. A name that you might recognize, and that's really.
Do you have a number? What the average amount of people that are there for, your average day-to-day show might
Yeah,
be?
you mean in Rochester?
Yeah.
Yeah, 350 to 400. Right
And is it about the same size space?
It's a little different because it's on multiple stories. 'Cause we have a mezzanine level there, but it's a very similar square footage.
Okay.
For the room.
Any other questions before I? All right, I'm going to open the public hearing.
Sure.
And we might have more questions for you in a few minutes, but. Okay, so at 7:27, I'm going to open the public hearing. Once again, please come up to the podium, state your name, city of residence, and you will have 3 minutes to tell us what's on your mind.
Good evening, Kurt Height, 3525 Robina, a resident. I just wanted to say first, the applicant, I really love looking at all the concept drawings. I live right kitty corner, right across the street on Robina. And, I lived there when I was a kid and the Berkley Theater was open. So I always knew that one day if they open up the theater, that parking would be an issue. So, I'm not here to say, for something like this, while parking is a concern, the only thing I would ask is, I'm not sure if you guys mentioned employees might be required to park down at a municipal lot or something like that. Just if they make some kind of agreement to say that they're not going to park in the same spot on the same street every day, whereas they might lock up, that would be the only thing that I would see that would be annoying. But if it's a big event, 4 or 5 times, 10 times a year, that's going to probably happen. And I as a resident that lives right there, I kind of accept that. I really appreciate what you guys are trying to do and the view that you guys, or the look that you're trying to do. So I appreciate that. The only question I had too, though, is there used to be bathrooms upstairs on the west side are those not gonna be there anymore?
Because of ADA and handicap rules.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Okay, thank you very much, and, good luck. I really can't wait to see what you got to come up with.
Thank you.
My name is Dino Bistolarides. I'm a Royal Oak resident, and I'm representative of the ownership group of the building. And first of all, I wanted to thank you guys, and I understand you guys have a lot of things to juggle, and you have a very difficult job, and you guys are always looking out for what's best for the city. I can say for the past year and a half since we knew Rite Aid was leaving, I heard nothing, not to detract from Rite Aid and everyone that worked there and the memories that were made there, but I heard nothing but memories and people talking about the theater, the theater, the theater. Everyone who grew up in Berkley, Huntington Woods, Southfield, everything around here, that's all I could hear about was memories that were made at the theater. And, someone like Glenn and his team, they've obviously been down this road before, experienced. I think they're going to bring a lot of good things to downtown Berkeley. The economic impact, the memories that are going to be made. This is, far as I'm concerned, this property is one of the cornerstones of downtown, and it's vacant right now. And we have really one bite at the apple here to transform downtown Berkeley. And I think, someone like these guys are perfect. It's my opinion, it's a match made in heaven. So, I'm here to voice my full support on behalf of ownership and have a lot of confidence in what they're going to do there.
Thank you. All right, and we had an email. Do we have any additional besides the one email we all got, Kristen?
The email that was included in the packet, and then there was another email I forwarded out today from the same gentleman.
Yes, okay. So in that email, that gentleman had concerns. Do I have to lift name and everything? Had concerns about the noise in the parking, and then spent some time looking over the packet material and withdrew his concerns and is willing to see how it plays out. Kristen, do I technically need to have lift the name and all?
If you could just say the name, that would be helpful. I can try to find it too.
Oh, there it is. Jason Spenny. Okay. And then with that, I will close the public hearing at 7:32. And we can discuss.
Chair Kempner, could I make one quick comment? I just
Yes.
wanted to say thank you to Dino and the ownership group. They really went out of their way to work with the city and try to find the right use instead of just the first use. So just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so comments, thoughts, questions, things burning that you must say. Don't make me sad, Lisa. Y'all gotta talk.
What do you, I guess, do you want to do the special plan use first or the site plan first?
I guess if you want to start there, I guess if we have any lingering questions, thoughts, or concerns that aren't, bit by bit, we can entertain those and then narrow it down to work towards a motion. If anyone has thoughts or questions or concerns.
So site plan first? Is that what we decided?
Sure. Let's do site plan first.
A little easier.
So we have no real control over the transparency. That is either ZBA or for them to adjust.
Right.
So then,
There was the note of the lighting lumens, 3,500 versus 4,000.
right? If they need to be replaced, right? Is that
Right.
how that went? All right, how are we feeling about the facade? Do we feel like it meets the design standards?
Yeah.
It looks like good material. I guess the black, I don't know, is personal preference, I guess, but I mean, the materials look like they're good quality. So
I guess we're not looking at the color, correct?
You are not looking at the color,
We're
just
not.
the materials
Just the
proposed.
material.
I mean, that doesn't mean you can't say, I don't love the black.
You can say that if you
Right.
want, right, but it shouldn't be part of your decision.
Right. Just like I really love the red doors, and I really hope they don't turn into glass.
no, I love the
See
doors
that, like,
too.
retro red
I just
kind of like spread down a little bit too, but
it's the only thing I could see that could get out of the transparency easy without the ZBA.
yeah, no, I feel
involvement.
ya. I
Yeah.
feel ya.
A little pinstripe of red down the side of the building would look pretty
Right? Wouldn't that look fine?
nice. I guess maybe I'm the outlier. I kind of like the darker browns and blacks. I don't know.
It's exciting to have the theater revived.
Generally, I think it looks great.
Can we do a condition that has an or with it? If they decide to do the ZBA versus 17%?
And that would be staff's recommendation that you have the or, so that if they're trying to work with the transparency and get to 17% and they're like, this is just not working, then they're not coming back here.
Right,
Worst case scenario, they go to the ZBA, so that would be my recommendation.
right. Okay, well, I think it looks fine the way it is at 12. But we have no say.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed. I
it's
mean,
like the red pinstripe.
it makes sense, right? Yeah, red pinstripe would be really cool. But it makes sense why they made the choices they made.
And with the marquee, I mean, I feel like they get a little bit of, get a little leeway because of the marquee.
I mean, that's what you're gonna want to look at. That's what you should want to
Yeah,
look
the
at.
transparency is when you have a block of brick building, brick building, brick building, brick building, the door,
Right.
the marquee breaks it up and
Yeah.
provides that community sidewalk,
Yep.
good feelings vibes.
And it
or
feels
whatever
like
that
there's
is.
enough there to create interest,
Right.
right? Like, so
Yeah.
it's not, doesn't feel like a warehouse. All right, so site plan.
You talk about parking?
That would be only in the special land use, because as far as site
Gotcha.
plan goes,
It's
we
not
wouldn't be
required.
Gotcha.
weighing in on
Yeah,
it.
you're
I
right.
know. That's why I wanted to break up the two.
What happened to our sample motions?
They're there.
I think they're on the
They're there, they should be on page 2 of the staff
Yes.
report,
On the
not
staff
the,
report.
Mhm.
yeah.
review.
I knew there was another one.
I know.
And I was including recommended motions, so you'll see motions for approval because I am recommending approval. But if the commission going forward wants me to include motions for approval and denial, I can do that. Just as a general practice.
Mhm.
Yes?
Can we still ask applicant?
Sure.
Okay. I guess I just wanted to make sure with the lighting temperature, if that was an issue,
No.
changing that to 3,500.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Is the plan to keep the marquee lit, I guess, at night or?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so,
One more thing, sorry, with Kristen.
Yeah.
Do we need to follow an order of operations with this? Does
In terms of motions?
Yeah.
Does one have to go, before the other?
I would say save both of your motions to the end.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's one thing that I should have included on the site plan motion as a condition of approval that I did not, and that is that the applicant receives special land use approval from the city council.
That we recommend
We
for it.
recommend.
But if you were to move forward and approve the site plan, one of the conditions that should be added that I did not include is that they need to receive approval from the
Oh,
council
As
of
part
the
of their
special
site
land
plan.
As
use.
part of it, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we did that with another one recently, right? That was similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay. So
So
we're
that
all
sh-
cool with the site plan.
Yep.
And then we move to the special land use. I do have one question. So, I want this so much. I do have some concerns about the parking, right? And earlier comments helped me feel better. But if there came to a time where parking clearly was a problem, whether it was for other businesses or residents, would you be willing to work with the city and figure out a shuttle or valet parking or whatever it is to relieve that
Yeah,
issue?
sure. We're both on the same team as far as parking goes. We all want the same things. I want the customers coming to the Berkeley Theater to have convenient parking as well as you do, and not causing any issues. We're absolutely. I don't anticipate a problem. In my past experience, I think this plan is going to work. If for some reason it didn't, then I'm right on board to come up with a solution. However we all come up with an idea of what might work. You know, there are some things that are possibilities. There's the PNC Bank right across the street that closes at 5 o'clock. There's other opportunities. There's a medical facility right there that has daytime hours. There's other things that can be done, agreements that can be worked out if there is a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the parking behind the PNC and on the east side of Wakefield, are those city-owned lots?
So here is PNC, there's the drive-through right there. These are that's a private lot.
That's a private
That's
lot?
PNC.
Okay,
Yep.
and then the parking lot on the east side of Wakefield?
Right here,
Yeah.
also private.
Mm-hmm.
But not utilized.
Yeah, they're all daytime.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there are definite options in the area.
Well, I think you're right too, that people are going to be coming to Amici's and the Berkley and the Rind and those places and eating and walking. They're going to park there and walk to the theater.
Sure.
Yeah.
I personally am gonna walk from my house.
So am I.
My house isn't close, and I would probably still walk because then I can just kind of stumble home if need be.
Yeah, I feel like they're willing to work in case the plan doesn't work out with the city, getting those parking lots. I don't know if I feel too strongly about parking being a problem.
And these municipal lots are for use too, right?
Yep, the lot
But I
here.
wouldn't want to fill them with 118 employees. Because at first I was like, you can't put them all there because the new restaurant needs some of those spaces too. How do you?
Right. And I know within the memo, the parking memo, they mentioned that as a potential like contingency plan for the max capacity events, perhaps those could be utilized as well. So I think probably at least the recommendation here, and probably I would agree, is with a contingency or condition of working with the city and the departments to come up with some sort of parking plan. I would say parking and maybe egress plan, because there's the couple signals there, and it could get jammed up easily. So, but I'm sure with other major events, probably like the football games or something, that there's something like that that's already kind of going on with heavy traffic, right? Generators.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's something public safety would keep an eye on. We can always look at temporary traffic control orders that would be issued by public safety if those need to be issued.
Kristen, what is the cutoff? Like, so I hate ambiguous things. Like, hey, if you have a really big event, work with the city with no like clear line of what does a really big what would make you comfortable? What's that number?
I would say the number that they've listed is 300 to 544 people, I think. So any events where they anticipate more than 550 people, we would need to go to the contingency plan that we work out with them. Does that sound like a reasonable number?
And one of the advantages that we have in Rochester, almost 100% of our shows are pre-sold. We don't really sell, we're not a buy a ticket at the door type of thing. So we know exactly how many people are coming to an event before it ever happens. So whatever number we come up with, whatever the city's comfortable with, we can say, hey, we're at this number. We're going to kick this plan into place, or whatever else needs to happen. One of the other things I forgot to mention earlier is one of the advantages with doing pre-sold tickets is if you buy a ticket at the Roxy in Rochester, we email you your ticket. And on that email, underneath it says the event and the barcode, and underneath it says, please be considerate of our neighbors when finding parking look for parking not in the residential areas. And it really did work. I was surprised that, I thought a lot of people were gonna look at it and not pay attention to it, but we have extremely low amount of people parking on the residential streets. They just go right to the municipal lots and the city lots and the parking structure. So I think people pay attention to it more than I gave them credit for.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's gonna be one of the biggest challenges is for people that aren't really familiar with downtown is the amount of parking that is available that's not on the street. And if we could have some kind of like educational campaign with,
Yeah, so that's a good point, because the other thing that we did is we have a parking map on your ticket. So it has the map of where the Roxy is and where the municipal lots are, along with that statement. So, yeah, we're doing everything we can to try and direct them in the right direction. And because we're fortunate that we have your email address and we're contacting you before you come, we can communicate those things.
And there's a couple things I can add to that. One is we are working with Spalding DeDecker, who is our new engineering consultant, on developing our GIS a little bit more. So we're going to have that municipal parking map available that we would be able to link for them. And then additionally, the DDA has a parking wayfinding signage plan that's been out there for quite a while now, and DPW is starting to install some of those signs. So the first ones that you'll see will go up will be in near these parking lots to direct people here in anticipation of the Beverly restaurant opening.
Yeah.
And then signage would also be installed here, and I can talk to the DPW superintendent and the assistant city manager about beefing signage up in accordance with that plan throughout the city.
And was I apologize if I missed it, was there conversation with the employees that they wouldn't park in off-street parking just so that you don't have the same group of people parking on the road?
Employees would not be parking in the residential areas, absolutely not.
Any other questions?
I think also, if I'm not mistaken, since this would be in the DDA area, they would probably also be somewhat supportive of any challenges as well, right? So not only just the city, but the DDA as well.
Yes, the DDA has expressed support for the project in this iteration. So they are in full support of the project.
These are great conversations to have of running out of parking, right? These are great things that we should be talking about, is what are we gonna do when all these people come into town? And I'm happy that we're all on the same page of that's what the intent is to bring people to downtown and be a little injection downtown, so, yeah.
Yeah, and I know reading through this study, one of the concerns, I think, when they looked at existing municipal lots was that they were at 60% capacity in the evening there. So, right, and that's without this major traffic generator, right? So they're being utilized over half capacity, it seems like, at least when they went out to look at it. But, adding in a bunch more from a big traffic generator, I guess, could be a...
I mean, I think that was one of those things I was trying to balance, right?
Mhm.
Because of course it would bring more traffic to the restaurants and stuff
Right.
around there, right? But I'm like, how, are we tipping it too hard, right? Like, so that the rest of the, the people who aren't going out afterwards still have room. But I tend to lean towards the fact that I think it's okay. And I think there is a desire from both parties to make sure it's okay. So if it doesn't end up being okay, there's parking available. It's just, talking to the right people and getting them on board to share some of those lots that they are not currently using in the night, so.
And if I could add one thing to keep in mind for the special land use, any use that comes in is going to have some impacts. The idea of having the special land use option as something for the council and planning commission to consider is not to say that a use can come in. It can only come in if it has no impacts whatsoever on the surrounding properties, but it's to recognize potential impacts and try to mitigate them where we can with the sound attenuation measures we're doing in the building by trying to get ahead of the parking, but recognizing that there probably is going to be some spillover just as a result of the use, but we're doing what we can to minimize that as much as possible.
Yeah.
Do we, I mean, for this employee parking thing, like, is it, like, have to be a condition? I'm really not. It doesn't matter to me.
I mean, so I guess I'm with you because I feel like that is near impossible to try and navigate as an owner, right? Like, wait, where did you park? I guess easier when it's 20 and not 118. But really, I mean, you're not chasing them down and being like, did you park in this municipal lot 10 blocks down? It's just not going to happen.
So we do have issues sometimes with employees parking in front of a house or two on the first block for their 8-hour shift. And you're right, you don't know about it right away, but I guarantee you we hear about it.
I mean, I guess.
And we pass those complaints on to
Yeah.
the
to
owner.
them, right. I mean,
My concern is there's probably daytime hours where there's no shows and probably employees that work there. Like, why would they have to park, a mile away?
right, or shipping and receiving
Right,
or setting
yeah.
up for it. Yeah.
Well, I think or one of the recommendations in the report, and maybe it could be, if it's, maybe that's something within the contingency plan. Like, we don't have to specify it out, but within, like, once it goes past 550 people, it then switches to, the parking contingency plan with the city, and maybe that's an option in there that they can utilize.
So I guess one of my questions is, so what would we do?
If the
Let's say
employees
an
are
employee is parking there all the time. What are we going to go after the business because their employee is parking
No,
there?
we can't really issue them a ticket or anything. It's more of, we would pass that on to the business,
Which we would do either way.
which we would do either way. But if they were to have an agreement with another private property to say this is where our employees are going to park, and there were no people parked there from 4 to 10 p.m., like say at PNC, where there often are not people parked there, if that was the business that agreed to share some of their parking, I mean, we could issue a ticket for that. Like, if you're operating and the parking lot is empty and your employees are supposed to be parking here, clearly they're not. It gets a little bit harder if, say, the employee is parking in front of someone's house on Robina and just staying there the whole time. I mean,
It's a
that's
public road.
yeah,
So it's not
that
like you
right.
can-
That gets much more difficult.
Yep.
It's not going to be 100% enforceable. It just isn't. But it does provide a little bit of extra protection and a little bit of extra teeth if it really gets out of hand. If we have the situation that I just described, where the PNC parking lot that they, in this example, had an agreement with is totally empty.
Okay.
Do we want to discuss parking more?
I mean, I'm okay either way. Looks like
Okay.
you had something else.
I did. I was just curious regarding the noise. Is that something that is regulated, or at least is that something like if you get a noise complaint,
Yes,
the city
it's
would?
regulated right now by our nuisance ordinance. We are looking at updates to that. I have zero concerns about noise with this, just based on what they submitted and what they're proposing to do. And I know Glenn has expressed to me how serious they are about noise. They have a sound engineer come in and check
Yeah.
it once they have everything in place and add extra panels and drapery and all of these things. So I'm not concerned about it, but yes, that is something we could enforce if it became an issue.
became-
You also have the buffer too. This isn't right next to residential.
Sure.
The other, in Rochester, what we did is they had some concerns about noise. We did all our sound engineering inside. For the first month that we were open, they actually came out every Friday and Saturday and did a noise exterior. So I walked it with the guy from the city, and every time that we did it while the event was going on, a car driving by spiked it way more than
Yeah, sure.
what we were creating, so.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
Yeah. But I'm sure you have a number, a DB number that you can't exceed for nuisance.
You're also throwing the sound towards the street.
We're
right?
throwing it in the right direction,
Yeah.
so not to go
To the
in
west,
direction.
right. Right, to the west. But at least the city would have some recourse if
Yes.
it
Right.
did become an issue.
Any other burning questions or thoughts? All right.
If you were concerned about Commissioner Bardis's comment about people being there shipping and receiving and off hours, you could, if you wanted to include that condition, limit it to operating hours. Like the regular operating hours instead of, so that would allow someone to park there if there's an empty parking lot.
All right. Um, All right, so the findings. The use is designed and constructed in a manner harmonious with the character of the adjacent properties and the surrounding area as compared to the impacts of permitted uses.
Yeah.
Yep.
Agreed.
Agree.
The use is compatible and in accordance with the goals and objectives of the master plan.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. The use is located and designed in a manner that will minimize the impact of traffic.
I mean, I think they've made efforts.
I mean, and I think that they're gonna be operating in those hours where we don't have like a big traffic thing.
Yeah, it won't be like peak
Yeah.
hours. Yeah.
Keep taking these off. The use is adequately served by essential public facilities and services.
Yes.
The use is designed, constructed, operated, and maintained to comply with all applicable ordinance standards.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not changing.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, no, that's true, yeah.
The use does not unreasonably impact the quality of natural features and the environment when compared to typical uses.
There's no natural features
There's
in
no
the
net.
site.
The factors in section 10.03H of the zoning ordinance have been considered and conditions are found satisfactory.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So, I need a motion maker. Unless anybody has any last thoughts, questions, comments, feelings.
I guess regarding conditions,
Okay.
what are we looking to add for conditions?
So I think the conditions, A, have to be, that they have to coordinate with the city. Oh, it is 550 there, sorry. For any occupancy of over 550.
And that's regarding parking and egress or parking and
Yeah,
traffic.
traffic flow, all the stuff.
Yeah.
If they have something over 550, they gotta sit down and talk with Kristen and whomever Kristen decides. Employees must park further from the venue, either in a municipal lot beyond, do we need to have beyond 500 feet?
Well, otherwise,
Oh,
it kind of doesn't make sense. 'cause
or
those
in a
will
private
become-
property lot, okay. Via shared parking agreement. And then we could add the during operating hours part. If everyone's agreeable with it. And I think for special land use, those were the only conditions.
Yes.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So do I have somebody who's willing to make a motion?
I guess, we want to do the employee parking off-site as a condition? And it felt like there wasn't maybe consensus on that.
I mean, it feels
Jump
like,
in there for one quick second.
Yeah.
So, you know, when Chris and I first talked about this, I'm totally uncomfortable with the municipal lot option all the way down here for, 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm sending bartenders walking down 12 Mile.
Yeah.
Not comfortable with that at all. So when I talked to Chris about it, I said, that is not a realistic thing that's going to happen. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't want them to do it. So I said, well, let's come up with something else. And I said, I'm confident I can get a parking agreement with someone across the street. So that's why we added that in there afterwards. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. I really don't. 20 cars, I don't think that's a huge issue. But the parking at this lot and walking down is really not an option. So anything else I'm okay with, but other than that, and I appreciate the daytime hours because it doesn't make sense for deliveries and stuff for me to have people going across the street to the PNC when they're going to need the parking lot. So the hours make sense to me, and I don't mind. I'm sure I'm confident I can find an agreement with somebody across 12 Mile that there's enough lots where I can get something going with somebody. So.
that was my first thought too. Like, I remember my bartending days and I was like, you're gonna make somebody walk 7 blocks down at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd rather the people attending walk the 7 blocks when there's a bunch of them leaving, right? And a lot of activity. So, yeah.
There's a little bit of money in your pocket when you're walking down the street.
Right? So yeah, so I mean, I guess we can leave the municipal part in there just to give the flexibility if that has to happen, right? But ideally it would be that a private lot like the bank or something. And it's probably an easier sell to be like, just my employees. Like there's nobody gonna be, you know, drunk coming home from there. It's just gonna be employees. And you know, I don't know, I'm okay with it. Is anyone not okay with that?
I mean, I'm neutral. I
You're
don't think it's
neutral.
necessary.
Yeah, I don't
Right?
think it's
Okay.
necessary either, I guess, but I don't want to handcuff them if, I guess, with anything that's unreasonable.
Right.
But-
No, I feel you. I also think that if the city feels like they can handle a problem better with this being in there, then, you know. So I'm kind of neutral, but then
Okay.
leaning towards like, if the city wants that, then, all right, is where I stand. Anyone else have an opinion before we like throw it in as a condition?
I guess from city staff, is that preferable to have that in there?
So that was suggested in the Spalding DeDecker memo as a way to mitigate some of the impacts that we anticipate from the parking. I don't feel strongly about it. I don't know that Spalding DeDecker felt strongly about it. But it was an option that was presented should the planning commission and council be concerned about the parking as a way to try to take away some of that impact.
I mean, maybe when you're thinking of 118
118
employees, that's a different, a different
Right.
situation.
What if we did this? What if we put it as part of the 550 plan? Like at that point, then the employee area kicks in where we have to have a shared agreement or something. Because then that's when the potential problem is when we have a big show.
Sure.
And I'm totally fine with coming up with alternatives with a outside of the norm event. But I'd feel a lot more comfortable if we put it as part of the larger events.
I think that's
Yeah.
pretty reasonable.
I
It's a
mean,
good idea.
I am pretty ambivalent. I guess you don't care.
It was an option that was presented as a way to mitigate the parking. I'm not a traffic engineer. You have
Right.
some traffic engineers here on the planning.
I mean, but you would be
commission.
the one navigating this on a day-to-day basis, right? If something were to happen, it's you and your team that has to navigate it, right? I'm kind of ambivalent, especially when we're talking about 20 cars. Like, okay.
I agree with Bardis, Arnsman, and Kempner.
But
as
if
well.
you all
So-
feel like
I
you
do
can
not-
better navigate things.
I do
then-
not feel strongly that this is going to be a big tool for us.
All right.
Right. And I know, not to kind of beat the dead horse, I think part of it is parking on, I guess, in the neighborhood spillover, right, as part of an issue. So I guess as long as we feel like,
I mean, I don't think that there's a way to navigate that per se. First off, you have to know. Like, then you're going to have
Right.
to track down this person and make sure that this person is
Right,
actually an
right.
employee and actually working at that point when there's like,
right, exactly. So I
Yeah.
don't know if we keep it, I guess, just within over the 550.
well, and then that can
People-
just be something that I think Christians just decides
They work
as
with the city.
part of that plan,
Right,
right? Like,
That's
We will have to have a contingency plan for those instances. I mean, you can't fit 850 people here.
right. And so I feel like giving, at least my opinion is, just giving the planning department the ability to address what they need to in that contingency plan. And maybe that's where your employees, maybe that's, you know, you need a valet or a
Right.
shuttle or whatever, however they need to like
Right.
address all of
I
it.
think that's
for
very
now.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so within these conditions, item A can just be struck, and then the item B that actually, like, right now, we're not defining what goes into contingency plan, so.
Right.
We're just, that
Right.
would be-
Just that they would
they would-
need to work.
That's
They would
for the city and
incorporate
public
that
safety.
piece into it,
That's fine.
yeah.
Just that once it hits 550, they have to meet with
Yeah.
the city. All right.
I'm good with that.
So, but then I needed an emotion.
Trying to find.
Well,
Oh.
so I'm gonna, before I say anything, the site plan can go first.
Yeah,
You don't care, okay.
I don't care.
All right, I'll, a motion for approval in the matter of the Berkeley Theater PSP 1425 located at 2960 12 Mile Road for approval with the following findings being met. The standards of 1505 the zoning ordinance have been met, and then the additional conditions. The applicant obtaining a variance from the Zoning Board of Appeals.
That's the site plan part.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
Oh, that's what we're doing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the following conditions, that the applicant obtains a variance from the ZBA for the deficient transparency, or that the applicant obtain the existing 17% transparency on the facade. Second condition is compliance with all staff review letters. A third condition is that the applicant must obtain special land use approval by city council. And a fourth one is that the light temperature cannot exceed 3,500 for their exterior lighting. That's the conditions.
Support.
Did you get that, Alan?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to call roll?
Yes. Commissioner Bartis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dolan,
Yes.
Commissioner Stapp,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Yes.
Commissioner Arnsman,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
and Chair Kempner.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
And now special land use. That's an even more fun motion. Oh, Lisa, I miss you.
She likes reading those.
Huh?
You said you missed Lisa,
Because she always made
I know,
motions,
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
She's a lawyer, so.
especially for the
That's
special
like
land
second
use.
Damn,
nature
man.
to her.
Well, I can make a motion to approve for a special land use, the Berkeley Theater item PSU 0525 located at 2960 12 Mile Road, with the recommendations that the applicant has met all special land use findings A through G.
That's fine.
Okay. And with the following condition, that the applicant will coordinate with the city on any special or any events that are expected to exceed the occupancy of 550 persons, and coordinate parking and egress plans with the city.
Support.
Could the sentence be added that that has to be in place prior to the certificate of occupancy be granted?
Okay, yes, and additional condition that the applicant must finalize the contingency plan prior to the CO.
Are you still cool with your second?
Support.
Okay. And then can you call the vote?
Commissioner Dolan,
Yes.
Commissioner Stapp,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Yes.
Commissioner Arnsman,
Yes.
Commissioner Woods,
Yes.
Commissioner Bartis,
Yes.
Chair Kempner.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for your support, guys.
Yes, good luck at city council, and I can't wait to see.
It's very exciting.
Yes. All right.
I appreciate all your help.
Yeah, thank you.
Moving on, public hearing to amend our zoning ordinance.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Oh, you thought you were leaving?
Well, no. I was thinking
Not
that.
yet.
I was thinking the public hearing was related to that, but now that I realize I read way too fast. through
So
to get
excited
that.
about the theater. Second item on the agenda.
Oh, okay. Kristen, would you like to give us a little
Yes, and
rundown on that?
not as exciting, but just as important.
Yes.
This is round 2 of cleanup items to the new zoning ordinance. Just like last time, these are things we've come across as we've started to use the new ordinance and either notice things that were accidentally left out or things that are not clear enough for us to be able to apply. I will just go through mentioning each of these. I am not going to go into detail, but if you have questions, let me know. We're going to be adding definitions for medical office and outdoor service areas, clarifying the definition for carports, removing egress windows as projections, matching the two-family site layout approval process in the RC district with the approval process for two-family uses, including regulations for residential street types in downtown Gateway Corridor, Woodward, and Flex, prohibiting gun shops within 1,000 feet of an existing child care or group daycare home, clarifying setback requirements for accessory structures on corner lots, prohibiting properties from outlining windows in buildings with LED, providing dimensional requirements for compact car spaces, clarifying a sketch plans required for site plan review, and then clarifying requirements for non-conforming lots in the site design-based districts, and that is related to including regulations for residential street types in the districts where they were left out.
Fun times. How many more, are these, have you wrapped up what you think are issues at this point?
Pretty much.
Okay.
We have a running list. The list is very small now. There are some sign things that have come up, so if you'll all remember, the sign ordinance has been added to the zoning ordinance instead of as part of the city code. But there are things that are really more than clarifications, and I think are worth the commission discussing and deciding the direction you want to go. So expect a package of that to come forward at some point, dealing just with the sign section. But cleanup wise, I don't see a lot more of these coming forward.
Okay.
Out of question.
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what on some of the ones that are prohibiting now?
Which ones?
things? I see the prohibiting gun shops
Yep.
within the 1,000 feet, and then the prohibiting the outline of windows in buildings with LED lights in any district. How did those, how did something like that pop up? 'Cause that
So-
doesn't seem like a
Yep, it's not a clarification, right? The prohibiting gun shops, so if you'll remember, we prohibited gun shops within 1,000 feet of schools, K through 12 as part of the zoning ordinance. That was mirroring the regulations for marijuana stores. There was a request from one of the council members that we consider childcare and group childcare homes as part of that too, so that's the reason that one is added in. And then the LED lighting, that is prohibited in the ordinance right now in, I think it's just the downtown and Gateway corridor. And we had the issue pop up on 11 Mile. So the thought was, if the intent is to prohibit LED lighting because we feel like it doesn't go with the aesthetic of the community, why would we limit that to just the downtown and Gateway corridor?
Okay. Does that, I'm just curious, this is fine. What if you live on those streets and you have your own house?
There's exceptions for
Okay,
things
okay.
like decorative lighting and
Christmas
things
lights.
like that. Yeah.
Seasonal.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's for businesses too. I think it's the 11 on 11 Mile right now has the Christmas lights all up and down the building.
Okay.
There are exceptions for those sorts of
Okay.
things.
No more Christmas lights.
Or Halloween.
Or Halloween
Canceled in the
lights.
city.
Hey,
I don't put anything up.
Do we need to approve anything?
You need to recommend
Yes.
approval of this whole
well,
batch.
actually, I need to open
Yes.
the public hearing at 8:12. Did we get any emails
No,
or
we-
anything?
yeah,
No
nothing.
communications? And seeing as no one's in the audience, I'm also closing it at 8:12. Okay. And if we're amending this, it has to go to city council, so we're just recommending.
Yep.
Does anybody have any additional questions? Or a motion? I'm just gonna start putting names in a bucket, and I'm just gonna pull out a name and be like, you have to make a motion.
And I will make sure in the future I include a recommendation motion for this too. It would just be.
We're especially lazy, so.
Yeah.
appreciate
It would
that.
just be recommending approval of the ordinance, I would just say as described in the title block,
This is
because
a
this is
tough
really long.
I was
You
gonna
made
say,
Joe read it all out.
I make a motion to approve the zoning ordinance cleanup amendments as detailed in staff memo.
That's fine.
Second.
Should you call the vote?
Yes. Commissioner Stapp,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Yes.
Commissioner Ernstman,
Yes.
Commissioner Woods,
Yes.
Commissioner Bartis,
Yes.
Commissioner Dolan,
Yes.
and Chair Kempner.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Yay. All right. And the meeting schedule, you're still not out yet. Now we got a meeting schedule.
So there's a couple things I highlighted. Generally, we meet the fourth Tuesday of every month. Tuesday, May 26th is the Tuesday after Memorial Day. Tuesday, November 24th is where we are right now, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So if the commission wants to change those, we could change those. And then Tuesday, December 22nd. The past couple years, we have moved our December meeting up to the third Tuesday because it's fallen on Christmas Eve or somewhere about there. I'm available on December 22nd, but if you guys would like to look at the third Tuesday for any of those, we could.
I would like to change all three of them if possible.
Okay.
Who's be traveling all over the place?
What, are you moving next year too?
It really throws off the schedule, though. Okay.
I think I'll be traveling Memorial Day for sure, and Christmas for sure.
Christmas feels like we probably should move Christmas because
Yeah.
it's usually a chaotic week.
Right. Those of us with kids that are also traveling and.
Unless anyone feels different. I'm only one person.
Unless everybody else doesn't travel as much as I do.
Yeah, I don't ever go anywhere, so.
My vacation is home, so.
Here. So we would be looking at December 15th
Yes.
and
26, too. We should clarify. This is 2026.
Yes,
Yes.
2026.
Yeah, 2026.
Not coming up.
And then November 17th, 2026. Like I have anything on my calendar.
Yeah.
I'm okay with with both of those. Everybody else?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. What's the other one? Memorial Day.
That'd be May 19th.
So that'd be May 19th.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Generally can't plan that far in advance.
I know, right?
I'm not even gonna
And I
look
do
at
need a motion to approve on this one.
Come on, come
it. Well,
on.
Josh needs to, because he's the one with all the changes.
Yeah.
What? You're right.
I didn't write down the dates.
That's okay.
You got the dates?
I think you can just
It's
approve
the 3 holidays.
Oh, okay.
updated
As
calendar.
amended.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well then, yes, a motion to approve the amendments to the calendar with the updated dates for May, November, and December 2026. And I think Commissioner Dolan wants to support this.
Sure, I support it.
Can this be an all in favor?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Josh's calendar is approved.
You'll all be thanking me when these holidays roll around, all right?
Kristen, I don't know if this is a good time or not, but next December, or the next meeting in December, I cannot be there because we moved that to the third week, and my son has an orchestra concert.
Keep going, Josh.
So I will not be here next month.
We have no items for
Good.
December right now. I don't
Okay.
anticipate any. so.
What's the date for that? Sorry, I just
17th.
shut my computer, so I can't look at the calendar.
It
Wait,
is
I'm
the
still-
16th.
December 16th.
Liaison reports. Anybody go anywhere this month?
ZBA was canceled this past meeting. And then 2 months ago, they had the gas station on 11 Mile that we heard.
Mm-hmm.
That was approved.
It's operating.
It is
Really
operating.
good prices.
And then the second one that was not approved was a dimensional variance for a house that backed up the Coolidge, and they were looking to rebuild their garage. It was not approved. That's all I got for the ZBA.
Our last meeting for DDA talked about Berkley and how wonderful it was. And the trolley, and they were working on dates for the times for the trolley to be going around in December. You can find that on the DDA website. I think they just posted an update to it. Yeah.
Do we know when Slows or
Yeah, we
Berkley
were talking
is-
about going to Slows this past weekend, and I thought it was open, but it's not.
So
mean-
Slows is open for events on the second floor. I think you guys did a ghost chase.
We did.
Thing there.
Yeah.
That was really
Um,
fun.
The first floor should be open for everyone in December.
Next week.
Like, how sure are we? Because they really thought they were going to be open in October.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
What about
So,
the
like-
Beverly?
The Beverly is working through their permits. Both Slows and the Beverly have run into some construction issues. Nothing on our part, city-wise. We're helping them along as much as we can. They originally were talking about a November opening. Obviously, that's not happening. They have a little bit left, I think. Slows, I'm 90% sure they'll be open in December. The Beverly has a little bit longer.
And Slows gave us a great discount to hold our ghost chase there. So, all you millions of people watching from home, give them some love for giving the community some love. Anybody else?
Right. So for the Chamber of Commerce, they held actually an event at Slows. I think a level up event, or maybe they're going to.
They
Yeah.
did.
They did already. Yeah. Which sounded like it was a good success, and they're looking to be good community partners. They held the State of the City, which had a very good turnout. I think they're actually looking to get a new venue, potentially.
I have
a
an
larger
idea.
venue. Oh yeah, there's a lot of chatter already about uses for the potential theater.
We have them booked up before they even open.
Yeah, right.
That's a good problem to have.
That is
Yeah.
a good problem to have.
They were giving $1,000 to the lighting event, which I believe is on the 6th of December. They are still working through some new kind of board positions, as they revamp to their start of the year at the beginning of the year. And then I believe he was a former planning commissioner. He was the president, Tim Murid. He did have a stroke last month, so just keep him in your thoughts. But that was about it.
Thank you. Kristen, any additional?
The only thing I wanted to mention is I did go to the Michigan Association of Planning Conference. Kim Anderson and I both went. We went and accepted the award along with Carlisle Wortman for the zoning ordinance public engagement, which was very nice. But what I wanted to share with the commission is I hadn't been to that conference in a few years, and it was a big about face from previous conferences. There was a lot of emphasis in almost every session on competition among cities and flexibility and financial incentives, and a lot of the things I feel like planners usually have lofty goals of we really want to make sure we're hitting all of these high points of our vision and what the community wants to see, and we're sticking to that. And it was kind of like, but remember, you have to be a little bit reasonable, because if someone doesn't hit that vision, they're just going to go to the next community who's going to say, well, we'll lower our vision a little bit. It was a totally different vibe than years past, and I wanted to share that overall message to the Planning Commission.
So the theme was race to the bottom?
It wasn't race to the bottom, but it was communities need to be on top of exploring incentives, because the cost of construction has gone up so much in the past couple years that these projects are not workable. So that we should be open to the idea of being somewhat flexible, not a race to the bottom by any means.
I mean, I know a few planners, and their expectations or wish list are usually very extensive and expensive.
Correct.
So,
And that's always what the message has been. Like, ask for the moon.
right.
They tamped that down.
I would really like to see them return to having some virtual sessions, because Because I think there was a lot of stuff to be learned that way for people who had regular jobs and couldn't, you know,
Yes, I would
work
agree.
at a city to, like, you know, get that time to go.
Yes. I will pass that message along. I did share that with them too, because even for someone who does have a regular job like this, to take 3 days away to go attend this, it was nice, but it's not something I feel like I can do every year, just cost-wise, and also to just take 3 days away from work,
Yeah.
from regular work.
Next year, the international one is in
In-
Detroit.
In April,
Yeah.
the international,
Really?
or the national conference
National, yeah.
is here in
international's the wrong
Detroit
word,
for the
yes.
first time in
Right, yeah.
a very, very long
That's
time.
cool. Where's it?
Stuff in Detroit.
Do you know where
Huntington
it's at?
Place, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that's the basis, but they're reaching out to try
Where
to
was
do-
the one that you,
It was in Kalamazoo.
okay.
I think it's,
They're
So
gonna
it's
be
not, so you probably had to go stay there and,
right.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
a
like
lot.
it's just to drop in, but
Yeah.
it will be nice to have the National Planning Conference here.
mm-hmm. I think they're submitting, did they have abstracts? Submittals? I think I saw that.
I don't know. They
Oh.
had a call for
If you guys did any,
proposals.
okay.
No, I did not submit to the National Planning Conference.
They're, right now, they're recruiting, I guess, ombudsman for
Yes.
tours,
Oh, yeah.
or bus tours.
Did you sign up?
One of our planners is trying to get me to sign up, maybe, I don't know.
I did not sign up.
City council met. We did the swearing in of mayor, 2 incumbents, and then Gary Elrod. So they were all sworn in last meeting. We have a new attorney. You guys all know Lisa Mame. She's wonderful so far, thoughtful, gives sound opinions. We're lucky to have her. The budget process has started already with directors. So we're trying to start it a little earlier this year. So for you guys, you'll get that, you guys get the SIP, right?
Yeah.
To look at. So hopefully that comes earlier. We had our audit, which went very, very well. There was only one finding about a date, a procedural date not signed. Veterans Day events went well. City manager's been here a year already, so time flies.
Yeah.
So her review is coming up in a month or so we're working on that. Holiday Lights Parade is a committee. It's not the city-run event, but it is a Holiday Lights Parade committee. They're looking for volunteers still. December 6th is when that parade will be, with the lighting ceremony after. And then one other thing that's a little bit different this year is the community block grants is a little bit different. We used to submit and get it. Well, now we have to submit the application to Oakland County for the grants, but this year we have to apply for them. So the city applied for $90,000. Hopefully we get it, but it's just a little bit different this year. So we'll see if we're in it.
More labor intensive, fun.
Right. And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
And welcome to Commissioner Kaplan. Thank you for just jumping right in so we don't have any vacancies.
Right? That was nice.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and I don't know that I can exactly fill Lisa's shoes, but I will do my best.
We're good. She'll teach you how to make a motion. Just kidding.
Like, you want to go to lunch and teach me how to make a motion?
Teach me how to make a motion. And then when she does that, I'll be like, so I think you and Josh should go to lunch. And I think, all right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:27 or 8:27.
Is that what?
Never had to worry about that before.
I know. I never had to ask for that. You were just like.